What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only. It's Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage Scott. Great start with the wireless headphones. Man, that's the worst.
There's always, start. You know, what can go wrong will go wrong.
Oh, man. Battery level critical. I'm like, uh-oh. One day we won't have to worry about this because we'll be back live in the studio. That is in the near future. I look forward to those days.
Everybody that's going to be a lot of fun.
Dude, I can't wait. Everybody can join us live right now, though, over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, coming up on today's show, what's the future of Skull and Bones look like with another Ubisoft director departs the company? More questions about PSVR 2 and 4 of Steam's biggest titles of 2021 are new releases. Interesting, isn't it? Let's get going, because Skull and Bones associate director departs Ubisoft after 15 years with the company. Ubisoft's pirate romp has seen its share of development troubles, and now it has lost its associate director. This comes from Stephanie Nunelli over at VG 24/7. Skull and Bones has lost associate director Anton Henry, who has been with Ubisoft for 15 years. Henry was also the lead game designer on the Ubisoft Singapore project from 2014 to 2017 before becoming its associate director. Henry also co-managed development on Assassin's Creed Valhalla and its Siege of Paris expansion, and worked on as a senior director designer on the 2014 canceled project. What is this one? This one's new for me. Game designer of 2014 canceled project for PSN, XBLA, Steam, iOS, and Android, as well as the original Watch Dogs title. What was their canceled project of 2014? Yo,
it kind of gives a scope of it because the mobile, is
Yeah.
advanced, but that kind of tells me what it is. And Xbox Live Arcade, haven't seen that acronym in a long time.
No, exactly. So that was, man, 24. What was they canceled? That's a new one to me, dude. Completely threw me off if you couldn't tell. But announced back at E3 2017, Skull and Bones has been in development since 2013. Dude, almost a decade later. Right? This is the offshoot of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. We all knew how well everybody loved the ship battles in that game, right? And that kind of spiraled into other things, and it just
turned Assassin's Creed 3 into, how many Assassin's Creed are there now?
Oh man, there's so many, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. There's a ton of them now at this point, and they just keep going. They're unstoppable, it seems like, at the moment. But the biggest thing for me, dude, almost 10 years, almost a decade in development. Obviously, this is going through development hell. There's no doubt about it. It's been reworked, reimagined, redrawn up from the ground to the top again. And then I've seen people who've actually played it, I want to say about 6 months ago.
So, man, okay, well, that's hopeful, because I was thinking it's Skull and Bones forever.
No.
Duke Nukem forever.
Oh, jeez, right?
And that gives you an idea of the quality, but this is Ubisoft. It's a whole different situation, but I just have fears because, we're coming up on a decade. How many games take that long? This isn't Rockstar.
Absolutely.
So
no, I know, and it kind of makes you a little nervous, right? There's no doubt about it. What happens with this? A report from July 2021 stated the game was currently in alpha, and in the many delays can be contributed to the mismanagement, staff and management changes, corporate feedback, annual reboots, and the fact that was never a clear creative vision behind it, Scott.
Okay, the mismanagement, I think they needed a dedicated director or something that would have pulled it all together. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. A Kotaku report also stated that the project has sailed past the budget of $120 million.
I think that's a lot of money, to you or I, but I wonder what the average development cost is. You know what I mean? That's
sure. But their budget was 120 million, and now they're like way past it. After 10 years, I would expect them to be past that, right? It's unfortunate, man. I really question the future of where Skull and Bones lies. Will they ever pull it out of, troubled waters and see if they can get something on the ground or above water? So
yeah.
Scott, let's move on to what's happening over with the PlayStation VR. We just talked about it yesterday. Sony won't say whether PSVR 2 will come out this year or whether it's backwards compatible. This follows yesterday's reveal of the PlayStation VR 2 specs. This comes from Dom Petiet over at VG 24/7. Despite showing off some big details about the hardware, its boost of 4K HDR, 110 degrees field of view visuals with VOVEDed rendering, there was little information about the headset's release date or more specs features. Dude, it's man, oh man. This comes with a follow-up tweet by Axios journalist Stephen Totillo, noted as he had asked Sony whether or not the hardware would launch in 2022, to which the company wouldn't give a straight answer. Quote, I asked Sony if PSVR 2 would be out in 2022 and if it was backwards compatible with PSVR titles, something many people have asked me to ask them yesterday. Neither was addressed yesterday, end quote. He says in the tweet, quote, Sony PR says they have nothing further to announce at the moment, so stay tuned, end quote. No big surprise, Scott.
Well, if they had backwards compatibility already coming, you feel like they would, want to mention that.
You would
Especially
think.
if it is cause of discussion. I saw a little bit of this discussion happening in Twitter,
Sure.
and it was a lot of people's belief that it will be backwards compat based on the amount of VR titles that have been given out through PlayStation Now and other sources. You
Right.
know more about that than I would, but it seems a little of a waste to give out all these titles if you can't access them.
Well, I would think moving from the Move controllers to what they are now calling the Sense controllers, right? It wouldn't be that difficult because the only way to teleport around in those games are the teleportation. Like you hold down what they would classify as the thumb button, right? So it's in the middle of the Move controller, and you push it and you hold it, and then you teleport over. Often found in a lot of VR games in that case. So can use that. You'd have to then obviously go in and tweak the controls to go and be compatible with the Sense controller to just just move up on the analogs. It doesn't, right? That's the other thing. It does require the developers to go in and make it backwards compatible. It's not just like flicking a switch and then boom, it works. That's not going to happen. It's not going to work that way, right? The biggest thing for them is to be able to go in and tweak the controls so it is backwards compatible. Like bring Moss 1, bring Moss 2. Moss 2 is coming out for PSVR. Not
I've only
PSVR 2, dude.
Moss
is sick.
I've only heard good things.
Yeah, it's incredible, right? And I think the boost will be to put all those, keep that library alive. You don't want to let it just dwindle out, a la PS Vita. Rest in peace.
Well,
right?
And imagine if there's a PS Vita 2, you would want all your Vita titles on there. That makes sense, and it's going to be a selling push. And for terms of remapping, that does seem about the most minor kind of thing you'd have to do. I think it would be more difficult to make the cameras, look around in the same fashion as singular camera that watches you. But we've played Oculus Rift games up on the stick. That's pretty standard.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, like, what are the technical hurdles that the developers will face? Because you don't want to lose the people you already have invested in with PSVR to give up those games. Now in a day and age where we get everything that's going, almost everything that's backwards compatible, right? You want to be able to bring that library forward. Steam has been doing that for decades. Like, dude, we have games that are so old on Steam that they still work to this day. That's the beautiful thing about PC and Steam.
I've been playing old games from the early 2000s with my brother, and it's the only way you can do it nowadays. And
that's just it.
I thought about it. If I had to get a Rift, I have a Rift S. If it just blew up for some reason, I have to get the Rift S Plus Mega. Then I want all my games to continue through. Otherwise, I just wouldn't.
No, absolutely. So hopefully, PlayStation is wise enough to the point where they would keep the install base happy that they've already kind of put the groundwork in, right? For us to say, hey, you know what? PSVR is cool. It's a cool unit. Yeah, it runs at like 720, which isn't the greatest compared to where we're going, but PSVR 2 is 4K. And you can bring all your titles with you. Dude, what a selling feature that is, because now you already have the install base. Then you get new gamers coming in for the next generation of VR for PlayStation, and you're only growing your ecosystem, and you're keeping everybody happy at the same time. I think it'd be a wise move.
Your whole PR is led by that last generation of people that are invested, who know
exactly
what the technology is and are excited about it. I think this is going to work out if Sony listens to feedback and they do, pay attention to the online circles. I think we'll get a positive result, but there is always the possibility. I don't want to throw shade, but they could have the Nintendo model where you just have to buy it again. That's how.
How many times have we bought Mario?
And not quite like Grand Theft Auto, but if you put Ocarina on anything, I'll buy it again.
See, that's my point, right? So maybe that's the other side of it too. Oh, you want have Moss over on your PSVR 2? Buy it again, $20.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. I'm hoping we can bring that library forward. We've seen that now with PlayStation. They're taking a look at that model to be able to bring everything forward. Xbox, we all know how well Xbox is invested with backwards compatibility and how, that's a big push feature for them. So hopefully Sony will do the same with all of our PSVR titles, because I have a bunch of them already on my console. And here's the other thing too, Scott. Take note, PlayStation Plus, we're giving away VR games. So if they're giving away VR games, why wouldn't they allow those to be backwards compatible moving into the next generation of VR for them? Doesn't make any sense.
That's the main side of the argument, I think, for backwards compat is, they're kind of prepping the launch. So
I think so, because when the console launches or the system launches, PSVR 2, it's going to be pretty empty. I guarantee we might get. This is probably on the heavy side. 8 titles at launch, okay? But if you have 8 titles at launch, you still have your whole backlog of games from the original PlayStation VR that you can bring over and carry you through until more releases come. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that seems to make sense. And if there is a large amount of launch titles, that's going to split up the amount of early adopters too. So that's kind of an interesting situation. But by the time I jumped into Oculus, it was already pretty populated. So
yeah, exactly.
I haven't experienced that.
So I'm curious, man. I can't wait. PSVR 2 looks incredible. But what's incredible right now, Scott, are 4 of Steam's best-selling games of 2021 were new releases: Naraka, Blade Point, New World, Battlefield 2042, and Valheim. This comes from Jeffrey Russo over at GamesIndustry.biz. Excuse me. Last week, Valve revealed Steam's top grossing games of 2021, and the 4 titles released in the year are among the 12 highest revenue earners. These chart toppers are identified in its platinum category, and the new releases among them are Naraka Blade Point, New World, Battlefield 2042, and Valheim. The remaining 8 were titles released in earlier 2020 or earlier titles altogether. Woo. Okay, let's run down the list. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Apex Legends, EA 2020.
Oh, that's a free-to-play title. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, right here. No big surprise here, Scott. This is in no particular order, I believe. Grand Theft Auto 5, 2015. Naraka Blade Point from NetEase. Counter-Strike Global Offensive from Valve in 2012. Destiny 2 from Bungie in 2019. New World, Amazon Games in 2021. Dead by Daylight came in 2016 by Behavior Interactive. Valheim by Coffee Stain Publishing in 2021. Dude, that's a cool game. Steve and I reviewed that one and had a good time playing that one. It was
I really wanted
cool
to get onto it, but I was too late. I missed the train.
Missed the boat. Actually, still there if you want to play. PUBG is there as well. PUBG Battlegrounds from 2017. Dota 2 still existing in 2013. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege and Battlefield 2042 in 2021 from EA, rounding it out.
I have to say that surprises me quite a lot. I know from socials that there's a lot of angry players, but I didn't realize that translates into a lot of purchase. I never thought about that.
Well, I think a lot of those angry players came from those who purchased the game, right? And found how empty and buggy and how lackluster that game really is. Oh man.
I keep giving it the time of day, and I discussed this a few times. It's like working out at the park. You're having fun, but you're not using it the way it's supposed to be used.
Well, and it's sad, right? It's unfortunate because that should have came out as a no-brainer, and it just came out as a fumble, which is just too bad. But Steam also had its top grossing VR games 2021, and they're listed here as well. Half-Life Alyx from Valve was 2020. Arizona Sunshine, The Elder Scrolls, Skyrim VR from Bethesda 2018, Boneworks from Stress Level 0 2019.
Boneworks is something I want to check out. That's the Corridor Crew on YouTube. To shout out to them. They put together a lot of things, and then they went into development, and oh boy, that's cool.
Exactly. VR Conjo, Hot Dogs by Horses and Hand Grenades.
Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades.
I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea. That was funny. The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners from Skydance Interactive. That was a 2020 title. Blade and Sorcery, Super Hot VR.
Oh,
yeah. Pavlov VR. That was a cool one too. Into the Radius VR. And of course, one of my all-time favorites in VR, Beat Saber. You can't beat it.
They'll never. No, unless they come out with a Beat Saber 2 that's bigger and better. I can't imagine, Beat Rock Band coming out and competing.
It's so good. Beat Saber is it's something simple. It's easy to get into, and you have a blast.
I only played that at your house, and it was so much fun, though.
Man, I'm telling you. So I have it on my Oculus right to my PC, and then you can get it on Oculus Quest 2.
That's cool. You look like you're smashing Dance Dance Revolution, but you're just out in public,
just dancing around. So it's cool. It's accessible. It's everywhere. I also have it on my PlayStation VR as well. So I think that was the first place I actually purchased it. and then from there I had to get it for PC because it ran smoother. So yeah, that's the biggest thing. But let's get into some rumors. Here's one of my favorite games. I keep going. Well, favorite game? I don't know if I could go that far. One of the games I keep going back to anyway for more punishment. Marvel's Avengers adding new characters before She-Hulk. This comes from Michael Beckwith over at Game Rant. Just before the end of 2021, Miller, who has become a reliable leaker for the Marvel's Avengers game by Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics, claimed that She-Hulk will be added as a playable character. That even shared who her voice actor will be, with said actor appearing to cooperate with Miller on Twitter, although her tweet has since been deleted, Scott.
Oh.
So
divulge a little bit too much, perhaps.
Well, exactly, right? She-Hulk is on the way. So Miller kind of did a couple little things and just hints at who the other character could be. And Sabat the Gamer over on YouTube kind of dissected some of the things, and we're thinking maybe it could be Jane Foster, who took over the mantle of Thor for several years in the comics, or Yelena Bolivia from the latest Black Widow movie.
Oh, okay.
Right? So
that would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I think, if anything, I think we'll see her make an appearance, but they said it's going to be a not well-known character, which I think is something that Marvel's Avengers does not need right now. They need all the well-known characters they can get.
They tried the biggest flagship character, I think, ever, and that just kind of fizzled. But I'm curious about She-Hulk specifically, because does that change up much of the gameplay? Because I think Hulk was, if I'm correct, I think that was your favorite character, your most used.
Absolutely. It's my favorite character out of the entire game.
Is it going to be disappointing? It's just a skin and voice change, though? That would be not what it means.
Here's, as I read into the article a bit more, She-Hulk will have her own set of moves, which is the biggest thing, right? So she comes as her own character, which is great. The character that's launching before She-Hulk, though, is supposed to be like a spin-off character of somebody else we've already seen. So if it's a spin-off of Black Widow, it makes a lot of sense. And her moveset is going to be pretty basic then, because we've already got those moves, right? That's the biggest thing. When you launch a new character into Marvels, it needs to be a strong character. It needs to have their own set of moves and their own story to get them into the game. And they've just...
Oh, that's what makes the Marvel movies. You know, think of Endor, think of... It's just... it's all about that. But I'm wondering, you know, if they ever bought, I have to mention it, if they ever added Static Shock to the game, I'll buy the super mega pack version of it. But
it's not happening.
I feel a bit like if I get into that game, I'm going to be like Jeff Goldblum in Ragnarok. If you remember that scene.
Yeah. Good luck, buddy. But that's just your little Marvel's Avengers update, because I keep hoping for the best for that game. Either way, let's move on to what Activision is up to, because they're filing lawsuits against Call of Duty cheaters distributor. Now, this is coming from Jared Moore over at IGN. Activision Blizzard is currently facing serious ongoing allegations of harassment and mistreatment. We all know how that's been going, right? But Activision has filed a lawsuit in the Central District of California against cheat distributor Engine Owning. So this is an actual company who distributes cheats for games. And they're suing them.
Days are numbered then.
Well, it's just, this is the biggest thing. Engine Owning's own website states that it offers, quote, cheat software for different multiplayer games, end quote, as it believes that, quote, everyone should have the ability to win and enjoy online matches, end quote. Nobody enjoys squat when you're playing against a cheater. Like, come on.
Can you imagine how that would ruin basically any competitive game? It's just, how do you justify one person getting a fake participation trophy at the expense of every other player who's played more than 10 minutes to enjoy it, you know?
I read that and I thought, give me a break. Like, nobody wants to play against a cheater. There's no fun. I like what Call of Duty does, and they put all the cheaters in one lobby and let them battle themselves. Like, that's
I like that one.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Let them go over there. But it's Call of Duty is hit heavily right now with a ton of cheaters, and it's a huge issue. And it's just unfortunate that, you know what? If you cheat, you suck. I'm calling you out. You suck. That's it. That's all there is to it. Don't cheat. Just get good. Otherwise, shut up and enjoy the game.
And I'll extend that to single player games. Do you think if you cheat through Dark Souls, you're good?
No. You're not. You just, I get sometimes some of us, like myself included, can't play a Dark Souls game. I just get whomped over and over, and I just don't stand a chance. It's like bashing my head into a wall. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't play the game because I'm not good at it. And I can admit that, and I'll have fun playing something else because I have a ton of fun playing other games. So if you cheat, you suck. I'm calling you out on it.
Oh, I'm awful at League of Legends. I'll never play it again, and it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, well, that's just it, right? Dude, we got some games coming soon and coming out to Xbox Game Pass. Here's your update. Available now is The Pedestrian, Gorgoa, Elijah, I want to say Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Ember is there as well. We reviewed that one, Scott. That was a blast.
I'm super psyched for that.
And Outer Wilds. Those are coming out too. Oh, dude, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I wanted to touch on that one, Scott, because what did you just do recently?
Oh man, okay, that's a personal burn, really. I had about $50 on my Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. And I was deciding what to buy with it, and I thought, okay, Resident Evil 8. There's a million different games that are great.
Yeah, for sure.
Far Cry, maybe.
Yep.
Then I saw, well, Mass Effect is on sale. I know I like those games. I've been curious about it. That's like 200 hours of game. Okay, I'll buy it. And I didn't think further. And then, not 3 days later, it's coming to Game Pass.
Never fails, man. Like it never fails, right? Absolutely.
Overall, I'm excited because I think a lot of people should play that game.
Yeah.
If it's something you enjoy, you're gonna like it, I think. But any sort of science fiction, if you're curious, try it out. And this means a lot of people will be able to play it. But oh boy, did I sacrifice 50 for the rest of us.
That's for sure. Coming soon on January 13th is Spelunky 2 coming to console and PC via the ID and Xbox program. And the Anacursis over at Game Preview on console and PC. Leaving on January 15th is one of my favorite games, dude, Desperados 3. Make sure you get a discount if you buy that game. Don't miss out on that game. That's a fantastic game. Ghost of a Tale, Kingdom's Heart 3, Mountain Blade, Warband, Pandemic, and Yiki, the Postmortem RPG.
You heard it here first. January 15th, Pandemic is gone.
That's right. And lastly, PUBG Battlegrounds will be leaving Xbox Game Pass library on January 10th.
Oh, man.
That's okay because on January 12th, it starts the free-to-play.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. Everybody's safe.
I'm curious. Does the free to play, is that across every console, the Steam included? Okay.
Yep. Okay. It is everywhere. Scott, dude, just like that, our show is just about done, my friend. Let's wrap up today's show, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. It's been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficial ITG, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott. We'll see everybody tomorrow inside the game.